It's the last call for certain EIDL borrowers to lower their payments by as much as 90%. Because of this news right here, the SBA EIDL goodwill period is ending. So if you are one of the 4 million EIDL borrowers, whether you took a $20,000 loan or a $2 million loan, whether you're up to speed on payments, already in hardship, or in delinquency, watch this quick video. I'll explain what you should consider doing today if you haven't yet, and give a prediction for EIDL loans for the future that I think a lot of borrowers will be happy with. Let's dive in as always. Thanks so much for subscribing, turning on alerts so you never miss out on any funding or business related information. And time is ticking for our next $10,000 grant. You can see the countdown timer right here. Plus there's a major grant due on Monday. Grants up to $60,000. You can use our AI to draft your story and get an evaluation, including a score for this grant. I hope every entrepreneur and small business owner in the US applies for these grants because you can do it in a few minutes. Links are right in the description. So here's the latest on the EIDL hardship and what is ending today since the goodwill period is officially coming to an end. In case you missed my report from last week, the SBA has reported tons of progress when it comes to borrowers enrolling in EIDL hardship, a nearly 50% increase in the past 2 weeks. The reason for all of this is simple. It's to prevent delinquencies, prevent defaults, collections, and basically negative consequences that EIDL borrowers may be facing. Let's say you got a $100,000 loan back in May 2020. You could have deferred payments for 30 months. That brought you to November 2022. That's when payments started being due for many EIDL borrowers. You had 3 choices at that point. Number 1, start making your regularly scheduled payments. So in the case of a $100K loan, it'd be around a $500 per month payment. You could decide to not make payments and get behind. If you chose that path, it's likely you're already in default, and you may have already seen negative consequences related to that. Or your third option was to enroll in a hardship plan to lower your payments by as much as 90% for a period of up to 6 months, which could be extended. And it turns out you can extend that hardship accommodation plan now for 2 years. So if you started your hardship plan back in November 22, that means you could be on reduced payments until November of 2024. Those lowering of payments does not eliminate any amount of the loan. In fact, I'm going to talk about EIDL forgiveness in a second, but it's very important to note the SBA did not want to emphasize the hardship plan early on because in the long run, you will end up paying more money. Basically, after the 2 years of lowered payments, you'll get back on regular scheduled payments. And then at the end of your loan term, for many of you, that may be 2050, you'll have a higher balloon payment to make. But that's a long way off, of course, so you're forgiven for thinking short term. What's best for you and your business today in the 2020s? You can worry about the 2030s, the 2040s later on. Well, as it turns out, the SBA saw a ton of folks still behind on payments. After 120 days of being behind on payments, so essentially missing 4 months, SBA would send your loan to the Treasury. The Treasury would contact you and say, hey, you need to make payments. You had basically a 2-month window there, and after 180 days of being behind on payments, the Treasury would send you to cross-servicing. If you are already there, there's a form you can use to write to the Treasury. I talked about it in this video here, to request that the Treasury send your loan back to the SBA. Now, what's with the Goodwill program? Well, early on in 2023, the SBA had kind of been turning a blind eye to EIDL loans of 100K or less. They were not pursuing collections for those loans. I talked about that in a few popular videos as well. Well, it turns out after a few factors, internal policy at the SBA, an Inspector General report, cost-benefit analysis, and more, the SBA decided they need to get those folks to pay their loans. So in this 100K loan example, you have to make EIDL payments. There is no EIDL forgiveness. Our SBA contact has said EIDL forgiveness is not on the table for now. For that to happen, Congress would have to vote on it. It'd have to be signed into law, perhaps as part of a larger deal. But for now, your EIDL loans of any amount have to be managed and have to be paid. But within that framework, there is a high degree of flexibility. During this 3-month goodwill period from beginning of January to March 3rd, the SBA was not sending any delinquent loans to the Treasury. So if you're in that 120-day window, the SBA was saying this is a goodwill period. Let's get you on a hardship plan. The SBA has been doing email communications. We had an interview with an SBA director. Since that time, over 30,000 EIDL borrowers have enrolled in the hardship plan. In the 14 months prior, only around 60,000 EIDL borrowers had actually enrolled in it. So over a 50% increase in the popularity. I think that goes to show that a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs are still struggling, and you could use temporarily lowered payments. So back to the case of a $100K loan, instead of making $500 payments, you can lower them to $50 per month. And you can do that now on your SBA portal, lending.sba.gov. But after March 3rd, the SBA will start sending EIDL loans over to the Treasury again. So if you are behind on payments, now is your chance to catch up. You do not have to pay a lump sum amount. So even if you're 4 months behind on payments, you can just start making payments to get back in good standing, apply for a hardship accommodation plan, and pay 10% of your regular scheduled payment. The SBA's main goal, again, is to help business owners, entrepreneurs avoid defaults, collections, which will have future consequences on your credit, perhaps wages, and more. Will the SBA do more in the future? Things related to accrued interest or other EIDL type programs that are easy to apply for? Time will tell. But for now, take a look at this post. The link is in the description. Make sure you're all caught up to speed on your EIDL payments and what you should be doing or thinking about. And then be sure to go apply for these fundings that are due soon, including these grants up to $60K and other grants up to $10,000, because if you can win a grant, you can put that free money directly towards your EIDL loan or another piece of your business. Most importantly, thanks for subscribing. Stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.